Hi there. In this next lecture, we're going to go over something that is really, really important when it comes to reading. And it doesn't matter if it's the general exam or the academic exam, the same thing applies. This lecture is, of course, for the academic test because it's in that section. But there is a similar video that's in the general test. And if you're taking the academic test, you can practice with the general materials. If you're taking the general test, you can practice with the academic materials. All right, so what we're going to be doing today is really practicing and learning how to scan for keyword language, right? How to really scan for synonym language. Now, sometimes when you are scanning for the matching sentence, sometimes you have some really good keywords that you can use to help you find this sentence. And that might be a date, or it might be a name, or it might be a name of a country, or some type of scientific word, or something like that that's going to make it easy to find the matching sentence from the question to the passage. However, once you get inside of the correct sentence, then it's a matter of, especially when it comes to fill the blank questions and short answer questions and sentence completion questions, especially for those kind of questions, are you able to find the keyword language, the synonyms that point you towards the answer? Are you able to match the synonyms that point you towards the answer? So what we're going to do today is just work on creating a synonym vocabulary chart. Creating a synonym vocabulary chart. And I tell students all the time, that when you're doing this, when you're using a reading passage, that don't just try to answer the questions and move on to the next one. Use this reading passage, drain it for as much as you can get out of it. There's so many different ways that you can build your skill level with just one reading passage, right? So like with this reading passage, which is from book 13, and it's test number 4 is called the Cutty Sark. Cutty Sark. The full name is Cutty Sark, the fastest sailing ship of all time. But you may use it to answer the questions, but also you say, well, you know what? I'm going to work on my scanning ability. I'm going to work on my synonym matching ability. How well am I at scanning for language that's using synonyms? Because that's the key to being fast, and being able to have answers that have language that points to the answer choice. Right? So what I've already done here is I pulled out the keyword language from some of the questions. All right? And what I'm going to do is go into the passage and find that matching keyword language. Okay, I'm going to find that matching keyword language. So this came from this reading passage right here about the Cutty Sark, right? And so first I pulled questions from the true false for the true false not given. And then I pulled language I pulled some keyword language from the fill the blank questions. Now for the true false not given question, we're just working on scanning, being able to find matching language. Like the matching language that we're scanning for and synonym language we're scanning for, this is not necessarily the language I will be using to find the sentence. But after I find the sentence, I will be looking for this language to help me point towards a particular answer choice. Okay? So let's be clear about that. Right now, we're not working on finding the answer. We're just working on the ability to locate synonym language that comes from the question and find it in the passage sentence, so that we can get better at being able to find language that points to the answer choice. So I want to be very, very clear on that. All right? So this first set of questions, it comes from questions 1 to 8. And what you want to do is you would look at the questions and note which sentences the keyword language comes from. right? Know which sentences the keyword language comes from. All right, so the language that I'm looking for is, I'm looking for, let me see if it will let me. I'm looking for, highlight, intended to be, right? I'm also going to be looking for language like favored. All right, now, contract between John Willis and Scott Linton. This language, John Willis and Scott Linton, that would be the language I use to find my right sentence. But this word favored is equally important because this word favored is what's going to be used to tell me if the answer will be true, false, or not given. Do you understand? When I get to this correct sentence, it's either going to use synonym language that means the same as favored, or it's going to use synonym language that is contradiction to favored, or it won't say whether it's favored or not. And in that situation, it will be not given. And that's why being able to spot the synonym language that's in the sentence is so important to be able to find your correct answer choice. But again, I'm not going over the answer choices. All right, please don't send me a message and say, can you give the answers? No, that's not the purpose of this. Okay, the purpose is not giving answers right now. The purpose is working on the skill of scanning. That's what we're working on. All right, now what you need to have is, after this video, there are going to be 3 more lectures, and those three other lectures are practice tests. Those are practice tests. And with those practice tests, you have to have the book to be able to do the practice test. I cannot give you the book. Okay? Please don't ask me to give you the book. I cannot give you the book. Okay? I cannot do that. So, in the description for the next few practice tests that come up, you need to have those. You need to have that book so that you can practice doing this. Now, eventually, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to, when you finish a practice test, create your own vocabulary matching chart between the question language and the passage language. Practice creating your own. Okay? Practice creating your own. But right now, I'll walk you through it. So I'll be looking for intended to be, favored. I'll be also, like this word, wanted. Right? Because again, language, did he want that or did he not want that? Either it'll say he wanted it, or it'll say he didn't want it, or it'll be blank. All right, for this one, sometimes you have to find language. Sometimes you have to find language that is even like it's more of like a whole phrase. Right here is more of a whole phrase. So I'm going to be looking for synonym language that either supports that or doesn't support that. All right, and what else am I going to be looking for? Oh yeah, the word travel. Right, now just because you find the synonym, like if for number 7, if I find a synonym for the word travel, it doesn't mean the answer is true. Okay, this is just a synonym that helps me confirm I'm in the right sentence. You still have to look at the sentence and determine is it true, false, or not given. You still have to do that. All right, and also I'm going to be looking for at risk of hitting. All right, so clippers were originally intended to be used as passenger ships. So watch how I do this and watch how I fill in the chart. And then afterwards, you can practice with the practice test to see how it's done. Okay? You can practice to see how it's done. Uh-oh. We're going the wrong way. Intended to be. Clippers were originally intended to be. The fastest commercial sailing ships of all time were clippers, three-masted ships built to transport goods. All right, so, for example, built to is the same as intended to be. Now, I said previously I'm not going through the answers, but just to show you, just very briefly, I'm going to do it just this one time to show you what I mean by just because you find the synonym language, then afterwards you would determine true, false, or not given. But right now, we're just working on finding synonym language. But just to make the point, right, here it says built to transport goods. What does our question say? Intended to be used as passengers. So this would be what, everybody? False. I was pausing for a second to give you a chance to answer. The passage said built to transport goods. The question says intended to be used as passenger ships. That would make this answer to be false. But the point, now I'm not going to do that again, so don't ask me. All right? The point I'm making is intended to be, the synonym match would be built to. Okay? Now, the next one is, we're skipping number 2. We're talking about the contract. And I'm looking for language about favored or not favored or empty. Here it is, Scott Linton. Okay, here's the language right here. Put him in a very strong position. That means favored. Again, here we found the synonym language, but our answer was false because they had two different things: intended for passengers, intended built to transport goods. So just because you find the synonym language, you still have to look at the sentence and determine what is the answer. All right, wanted. Okay, nope, that's not what I want. Wanted, wanted, wanted. You'll go much faster if you have the book because you won't have to scroll up and down like I'm being forced to do. John Willis wanted to be fastest between UK and China. Okay. Here's Willis, China, Britain, synonym UK. I'm looking for wanted. Was designed to. Was designed to is a synonym for him wanting to do something. Could travel between Britain and China faster than clippers. Steamships could travel between Britain and China faster than clippers. Britain and China faster than clippers. Britain and China. All right, and I think it was also Suez Canal. All right, so here's our language right here that confirms it. The canal was of no use to sailing ships. The canal was of no use to sailing ships. Right? Sailing ships was a synonym for clippers. Right? So, yeah, if we were answering this, actually it would be true. But this is the language that matches this, that confirms this language, right? This is the matching language. Then what I want to do. Okay. Right here is a synonym for travel, the word journey. Okay, the word journey. Travel and journey. All right. right, and then at risk of hitting. Okay, where's the question? Captain Woodget put Cuddy Risk at risk of hitting. Captain Woodget put Cuddy Risk at risk of hitting. Here's Woodget. Here's Woodget. Bringing her dangerous. Here's the language right here. Dangerously close. Dangerously close to. And risk of hitting. All right, so this is how we look at matching language, which will help us determine then if the answer is true, false, or not given. Okay, but again, we're just working on our ability to scan and recognize synonym language. That is one of the keys to doing well at the exam. All right, and this is something you have to be able to do on your own. Next, I'm looking at questions 9 to 13. I'm looking at questions 9 to 13. All right, so these are fill-the-blank questions. So I'm really paying attention to like the word carried. This one's actually easy because as a captain and something else, that means it's two positions, a captain and something else. We're going to find the synonym language for carried. We're going to find a synonym language for very skilled, because whatever this answer is connected to very skilled. We're going to find, what else are we looking for? Used for. Okay, used for and damaged by. All right, after 1880, he carried what? After 1880. Here's 1880. All right, so I'm looking for a synonym for carried. Right here. Transporting. All right, and so we can immediately find our answer for that one. Next, very skilled. Here was the captain, right? And was an excellent navigator. Excellent is a synonym for very skilled. I told you it connected to the language, right? Excellent. And what you're doing when you're doing this is what you're actually doing is you're just working on the skill. You're working on the skill of being able to. The skill of being able to locate language. All right, so between 1923 and 1954, Cutty Sark was used for. (1923 and 54). Here's 1922. Here's 1954. Okay, here's used as a. Okay. Used for. Used as a. And our final one is something about damaged by. Damaged by. Suffered from. Right, so because once you find the right sentence, it's all about just scanning for that keyword language. Damaged by, suffered from. Right, but you have to work on the skill. You have to work on the skill of scanning. All right, that's